So Colorado Buffalo's schedule is a lot tougher than I anticipated when I sat down and broke it down. So I took a gander at the schedule, and there are 4 teams, 2 on at home and 2 on the road, that I want to talk about and kind of break down how I feel like they could be the biggest challenge for the Buffs. So let's dive into that here on the Prime Time for College Football. This video is powered by our partners at BetUS. Check them out. They're hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit of $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150. So the Big 12 put out the schedule a couple weeks ago, and now we get an opportunity to break it down. I really wanted to look at the opponents that the Buffs have coming up and what Coach Prime and staff is going to have to do to prepare themselves, because Big 12, they made this schedule tough. So let's pull this up real quick and dive into, now I'm going to talk about the home games as well as the road games that I feel like, 2 on each, early feel like the biggest challenge for the Buffs. So this is what the schedule looks like right here. We've got, of course, at the crib, you've got 7 games with only 5 road games, which, of course, is very beneficial to every team in the country. Most teams have more home than away. And the beauty of it is for the Buffs, their biggest challenging games are all at the crib. From Georgia Tech coming in the non-con to start the season off, to BYU, Iowa State, and Arizona State. And in Arizona bringing back most of their talent. Challenges are there. And so the other teams on the road are teams that are trying to bounce back. I mean, TCU had a solid season. Same thing with Kansas State. But West Virginia with a new coach. Houston, Willie Fritz still trying to figure things out. He has a whole revamped roster again. And then Utah, and you still have Kyle Willingham, who's a solid coach, new quarterback, and it looks like they may be making some actual moves forward, bringing back a lot of that talent and playing. But when I looked at it, though, I was like, man, Colorado has to face 3 teams with at least 10 wins last season, with literally the top 3 teams in the Big 12 in Arizona State, Iowa State, and BYU. But the blessing there again is at the crib. So you bring them to Folsom, and you get to kind of control things a little bit better and be able to have that home field advantage to take that W. So looking at the games, looking at the teams, we'll talk about the 2 road to games first that I feel like are ones that really jump out that the Buffs need to probably focus on and be prepared for a good fight. But first, shout out to our partners over there at BetUS. Check them out. Hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and thirds by using promo code YouTube150. And right now, BetUS has all of the games out there, from NBA, college. I mean, especially here at the college, you can look at the Heisman. We looked at Caden Salter being up there on the Heisman list for the Buffs. You even can start looking at the championship odds winners in college football. And right now, Colorado is sitting at plus 10,000. So they're right there in the middle. Not in a situation where you feel like they're probably going to take it, but they're right there at the bottom with a lot of other teams in the mix for, the title. But hey, plus 10,000, not too bad. If you want to take advantage of it, you can. BetUS will hook you up. 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your second and thirds by using promo code YouTube150. Check them out, BetUS, where the game begins. So the first road game that I feel like the Buffs definitely going to have to, buckle up and be prepared for, it's going to be Utah. Utah's they did a lot of transferring in over the last few games, but the big thing is that Kyle Whittingham is a very, very good coach. And no Cam Rising, so they're not dealing with a whole bunch of super injury-prone guys. Brought in Devin Dampier and then Brendan Zerbrook from Oklahoma. So, Isaac Wilson's out, but hey, it feels like they're building the roster. The offensive line is going to be stout. The defense is returning a bunch of talent. When I looked at Dog Stats, my guy, the Georgia fan that put up all the returning stuff, Utah's bringing back 122% on the passing side, 91% rushing yards returning, and the defense is, it's in the 70s range for the most part. But I think that they're going to give the Buffs a pretty big challenge this year. They're one to keep your eyes on the most. Them, and then I'm going to say I think TCU is one. Sonny Dykes got a few changes there on the roster, but they still got John Hoover, who's one of the top quarterbacks in the Big 12, and he's bringing him back with all his stats. And they've added a couple wide receivers with their young ones that they have. Feels like, and a returning offensive line, I think they have one redshirt freshman there. Feels like TCU is going to be trying to get that revenge from the first year that they faced Colorado. And so I know the Buffs are going to want to get their revenge against Kansas State, but I feel like Utah and TCU are the road games that the Buffs are going to have to keep their eyes on that could end up being the biggest challenge. Let me know what y'all think on that one. Hop in the comments. On the home game, the two games that jump out to me that the Buffs, because honestly, I could say 4, maybe 5 of the 7 games are going to give the Buffs a challenge. But the ones that really jump out, one, of course, BYU. The Buffs need to get revenge on BYU from that bowl game. It was ugly. And now you get an opportunity. Now, BYU's bringing back a ton of talent. And Coach Satake, we all know, is a really good head coach that's very good at motivating, good at coaching, and he pushes his players. The offense, for the most part, is bringing back a lot of the talent. I mean, Jake Retzlaff is still going to be the starting quarterback, LJ Martin at running back. So, running back, quarterback, for the most part, wide receivers are back. They're bringing back a lot of their talent from last year as well. They were pretty high on their percentages with, of course, 99% of the passing yards back. With Ratzlaff there, they didn't bring in any additional transfers for the most part. Now, statistically, their numbers are still kind of low across the board, but they've got a lot of homegrown, developed players. So I think that that's where the Buffs are going to have to, really key in. And the good thing playing against BYU, the BYU game is the 5th game of the season. So you'll have a solid understanding of BYU early, but they'll be bringing back a lot of players you saw last year. So looking at the tape from the bowl game, unfortunately, to watch that, a lot of that should be what gets you prepared for BYU there. And in the other game, to be honest, man, I was thinking it would have been Arizona State, but they're a late in the season game. So we'll see if Levitt is going to be as good as he was last year to help Arizona State really stand out. I think Iowa State's going to be a problem, man. Matt Campbell has always done a really good job. Another 10-win season there at Iowa State. And I'm honestly surprised he hasn't gotten a job nowhere else. But he's going to stick around. He's got Rocco Beck coming back. So he got his starting quarterback's going to be back again. This is his, 3rd year going to be starting, which is huge. Picked up Chase Sowell, wide receiver, out of ECU. I mean, they lost both of their 1,000-yard receivers from last season, but I don't think that's going to hurt them, especially with Carson Hansen coming back at running back. He ran for over 700 yards last year, and that offensive line is going to be intact. Matt Campbell was able to flip that around, killed the game. Defense, still going to be there. Defense is probably going to be a lot stronger than expected, especially maintaining that 3-3-5 that they always run. Coach Hancock's going to be there. The retention there has really helped with Iowa State, and that's exactly what Matt Campbell has done a really good job of developing internally and keeping those same players. So I think that they're going to be another really big challenge for the Buffs to where they're going to be going up against a lot of experience. There is a path for the Buffs to win at least 10 games next season. There is a path there, but it's going to be a challenging one. Again, the top 3 teams in the Big 12 last year that had at least 10 wins last year, the Buffs will see them, but they will see them at home. That, to me, is a key indicator for the season and something that the Buffs can prepare for. They have them at Folsom Field. That is, to me, a big deal. The road games aren't as tough. Good thing for them is that, the BYU, unfortunately with BYU, TCU, and Iowa State, back-to-back games could be a challenge. But the good thing for, like I said, the Buffs is they are not going to be dealing with those tough teams on the road. They actually get them at home. So Can't beat that. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. What game jumps out to you? Give me a home game and a road game that you feel like the Buffs are going to have to really keep their eyes on. I would love to hear from you all on that. Shout out to BetUS again. Hooking up the gamer, 150% bonus on the first deposit of $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150. We'll get some more content out. We'll talk. Like I said, I still have some film breakdown of Caden Salter. We'll get that out to you all early next week. If you're one of the members on the channel, we appreciate you supporting what we do. We'll make sure we get those on there first. And yeah. We'll have more content come down the line. We'll look at some of the recruits and stuff that are eyeballing Colorado, planning for some visits, because a lot of those visit information's coming down the line, and we're excited. So we'll talk soon.